The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to preview this Saturday's pay-per-view event, which features Manny Pacquiao versus Chris Algieri. And also on that card, you got Jesse Vargas fighting Antonio DeMarco, and you got Vasil Lomachenko fighting a gentleman whose name I cannot pronounce.
And we're not going to try.
Yes, because we're going to be respectful for that gentleman's name. And we're actually going to start with that fight because I don't think it's going to be too competitive. Go ahead, Rob.
Should be a good showcase fight for the recently crowned champ, Vasil Lomachenko. This is his fourth fight?
I think it's fourth pro fight if you don't count World Series boxing.
Yeah.
And his first title defense since he won it from Gary Russell back in the summertime. Like Rob said, this is a showcase fight. I'm expecting a very good display of a boxing exhibition and maybe a knockout.
That's all.
That is all. Next up, we got Antonio DeMarco versus Jesse Vargas. Now, Jesse Vargas is an up-and-coming guy. He's been fighting. He started fighting on Mayweather's undercards, moved over the top rank, actually picked up a belt at 140, and this is kind of his audition for the Manny Pacquiao sweepstakes. Manny Pacquiao's been talking about moving down to 140. Jesse Vargas has been claiming on the internet that if he wins this fight, he's in the running to face Pacquiao. He's been told that by their promoter Bob Arum. So he has to do very well in this fight. The problem is Antonio DeMarco is pretty good. Don't let his loss to Adrian Broner fool you. This guy can fight.
Be prepared for a fight. Jesse Vargas is undefeated, but I can't really say he's been that impressive in his fights, especially when he fought Jerry Belmontes.
Yeah. Or Anton Novikov. I think that was his last fight. He pulled it out, but he didn't look that great doing it.
Now, I don't expect this to be a boxing exhibition, but he can be outboxed. I feel like Jerry Belmonte's style really gave him trouble. Yeah. And his whole thing was like, well, he didn't stand toe to toe and fight. You know, I'm like, that's not his game. Your game is the attack. His game is the counter. And Antonio DeMarco has a really good chance to lay some hands on Jesse Vargas because he really doesn't have any decent defense, and he kind of has brittle hands.
Yeah, also, DeMarco is an underrated boxer. And he can slug. He's got power because he blew out John Molina in like less than a minute. And you saw he went tooth and nail with Lucas Matisse. So, DeMarco's got some thunder in his fist. This is a very dangerous fight for Jesse Vargas. So, if he pulls it out and does well, I do expect him to be in that Manny Pacquiao sweepstakes.
We're looking forward to this. Might be the best fight on the card.
Yeah. If you're not a fan of like the purest of the pure sweet science, because in the main event, that is what you are going to get. You got Chris Algieri, who is the epitome of stick and move, and Manny Pacquiao, who is a consummate boxer as well, but in a different style. He likes to use feints. He likes to use angles. He throws punches in bunches. He's got the power. I mean, even at his advanced fighting age and I think he's got over 60 fights now.
Yeah, it's definitely over 60.
He is still at the top of the welterweight division. And
top 5 pound for pound.
Exactly. And so in this fight, you're going to see a lot of feints. You're going to see some excellent footwork. I mean, impeccable footwork. This is the most advanced footwork you might have seen in the ring all year. You're going to see lots of combinations being thrown. You're going to see pretty decent defense. They're going to use their feet. Chris Algieri likes to go into the earmuff sometimes. So does Manny Pacquiao. So you'll see a little bit of defense. You won't see like a Mayweather-Andre Ward type of defense. But you're going to get some good defensive displays going on. They like to bob and weave. Power's only going to be coming one way. That's Pac-Man. But Algieri puts enough on his punches to make someone's head snap back enough that they have to reset. And that is a very important skill to have, especially if you're not going to be actually hurting your opponent. So what we expect Algieri to do is to use his angles, use that jab to keep Pacquiao at bay. Can he do it? Probably for a few rounds. You got anything you want to add?
Well, I mean, with that jab, he's got to time Pacquiao because, of course, Pacquiao likes to come in. And sometimes he comes straight in, as you can see against Marquez, where he did that feint.
Got countered.
And got countered. But because Algieri's taller, he wants to time it kind of like how Kell Brook did Sean Porter when he came in.
Right. Sean Porter and Manny Pacquiao do have similar footwork, even though Manny's is better. Manny can move laterally with his in and out movement as well as front to back, whereas Porter hasn't quite learned that move yet.
But what I'm afraid of is that Algieri does throw a lot of punches from earmuffs. Now, he was able to catch Provodnikov cleanly and snap his head back several times. Throwing from here.
Yeah.
Now, if you're throwing from here, that's more time that it's going to take for your punch to get from point A to point B.
Right.
As fast as Manny Pacquiao is, he's either going to have impeccable timing, or he's going to have to stick it out just a little bit more, kind of like, and Hakeem mentioned this earlier before we got on camera, kind of how Klitschko does, kind of has it out here so it decreases the distance that you have to throw it.
Right.
Hopefully, he doesn't drop his hands because he got caught with the left hook by Provodnikov, and we know that Manny Pacquiao has power in both hands.
Yes. If Algieri does, he also likes to drop his hand very low, kind of like Tommy Hearns or Paulie Malignaggi. Like they bring kind of like an up jab. That's not going to work against Manny because Manny likes to move angles, and he's going to move to his right, Algieri's left, and he's going to counter him with the right hook all night. He's got, like Rob mentioned that I said earlier, he's got to have to do the Klitschko style and kind of keep it out here and just keep something in his face all night, something to think about. That way he is a little bit more hesitant in his attack and doesn't start reeling off those 10-punch combinations that he likes to throw. It'll be very tough to keep it going for 12 rounds, but if he can do it for at least the first half of the fight, he might have a chance on the scorecards.
Now, I don't know if you all had a chance to watch Under the Lights with Max Kellerman. It had special guests Tim Bradley and Virgil Hunter. And Virgil Hunter made a very good point about how Algieri throws his right hand, which we know Pacquiao is susceptible to a counter right hand, as you can see in the Bradley fight and the Marquez fight. And if he can get his legs under him and throw with more, he'll be able to throw more power and snap Manny's head back, especially coming in.
Right.
But if he doesn't and he's kind of throwing an arm punch or bending at the waist, then it's not going to have anything on it.
Fundamentals 101, guys. If you don't know what we're talking about, you can watch our first episode of Technical Toolbox. We dropped that knowledge on you right there. You want to bring that punch from the feet up, twist those hips, snap that shoulder. That's how you get the maximum leverage on the punch. Even if you're not a power puncher, like we said, it will snap his head back. By the time he brings it back forward, you're either resetting or setting him up for something else. That's what Algieri has to do to stay in this fight. Otherwise, he is going to be buzzsawed. And he's a pretty tough guy. He took Provodnikov's best punches. He got dropped twice early in the fight. But as the fight went on, he took the power very well. Manny is a very different power puncher. He is a lot more compact. He can hit you from short range. He can work his way in and lower the boom. He can hit you with counters. So the danger for the knockout is still there for Algieri. So he has to be very, very cautious. He has to fight the perfect fight in order to win.
Yeah, I see Manny starting out, darting in and out, kind of, getting a rangefinder to hit Algieri. Then I think like you said, see a lot of lateral movement to the left hand because he still has probably some of the quickest feet, if not the quickest feet in boxing right now. And I see Algieri, who can move laterally, but I've also seen him back up a lot too. Yeah. So he's got to, one, stay off the ropes.
Yes.
And try not to just back up. He's got to move side to side. And again, this isn't Provodnikov.
Right.
This is a guy with some of the fastest feet, some of the best footwork, and some of the fastest hands in boxing today.
Yeah, so with all that being said, Algieri's really up against it in this fight. But he may rise to the occasion and pull it off. Like we saw last week with Sergey Kovalev. He rose to the occasion. He added new wrinkles to his game, and he schooled the boxing master Bernard Hopkins. We could see that again this week with Pacquiao and Algieri. And then, I mean, that would be a huge statement for him to outbox Manny Pacquiao because it has not happened often. I really can't say that it has happened. Even in the Marquez fights that were all very close, Marquez kind of out-countered. He didn't really outbox him because those fights were really close. And on the knockout, he outsmarted him, but it still wasn't like, man, this guy's putting on a boxing lesson. Haven't seen that with Manny because he is a very underrated boxer. So this is going to be a very entertaining fight if you like the sweet science. If you like kind of like the club brawlers who just stand there in front of each other, you're probably going to miss a whole lot of that subtle stuff that we just talked about with the footwork and the hand placement and the feints and all that stuff. But you should see that stuff and enjoy it because that's part of the intrigue of boxing. Part of that whole chess game. Part of the art of boxing rather than just the brutality of fighting. That's one of the things that makes it different. So we hope you enjoy that fight. Look for those things. And that'll make you enjoy that fight even more when you see it and you can understand what's going on in the ring rather than just thinking someone's either running or not throwing punches. They are setting up their punches. They are getting very defensive and they're exercising the sweet science. Now, Rob brought to my attention, that's all we have for that fight. But Rob brought to my attention that this Saturday there's a huge boxing card going on in England or the United Kingdom that has a lot of up-and-coming stars over there. You got James DeGale's fighting, Anthony Joshua.
You have the main event is Nathan Cleverly versus Tony Bellew. You have Anthony Joshua versus Michael Sprott. You have James DeGale versus Marco Antonio Parabon.
That's going to be a real good one.
You got George Groves versus Dennis Douglin, and it's one more.
Scott Quigg.
Scott Quigg is fighting, and there's one more, and I'm kind of reeling them off. I can't remember, but it's on there, and this is going to be a great card. So if you can stream or find a feed or subscribe to AWE, that's the channel it's going to be on. I'm going to try to find it because I do want to see that card.
Yeah, and it should be going on in the States in the early afternoon because of the time difference. So you can watch that and watch the Pacquiao fight. That's a whole night of fisticuffs and a great night. That's it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like it, make sure you hit the like button. Share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do because you're going to want to catch the post-fight. Make sure you like us on Facebook, Capital of Combat. You can check us out on Google+, same name. If you have any questions, you can hit the comment section below. Anything you want to add, comment section below. And also, you can hit us up on our email, capitalcombat@gmail.com. Any questions you ask, we answer them in our combat mailbag, and we put that out for you. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.
This is round one, and you already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.